So hello everyone,
Hello.
welcome to the new day and new vlog. And look at the sunlight. And we just came after giving the SPPM exam, which was in building 46. Like building 46 was our center. It was divided on the roll numbers, based on the roll numbers, and some people gave their exam in building 42. So we thought of making with this video now so that we can tell you or try to tell you the feedback, as well as we try to tell you the exact questions that came in the exam. So starting with the pattern.
The first question is about GQM.
Yeah.
There was a GQM box given, and it was partially filled up.
Correct.
Yeah, there was some empty field. You have to fill it up.
Yeah.
I think the viewpoint was in terms of CTO, and the question was the company
Correct.
wants to know average productivity of their 5 Android apps.
5 health apps.
5 health apps.
Yeah. And
you have to write object, purpose,
correct.
quality focus,
Baseline hypothesis, variation points, impact factors, and these things. So there were some space given. So you had to write these points in those space given. And so first task was of including the marks point of view.
10 marks.
10 marks.
First task was 10 marks.
10 marks. So you have to fill the GQM tables. Almost 5-6 spots were there, and you have to fill direct lines. It's not like filling must theory and all.
This is very less,
Yeah.
so you can directly fill it up.
Yeah, and he mentioned this thing also, that if I ask variation factor 1, even if you write 2 factors, I'll consider first one only, because it is asked to write one hypothesis, one variation factor, right?
Correct.
And like the what question you can ask. So one question you tell, what base measures are there, that you tell directly. So he gave space, what are hypotheses you consider, what are the base measures that you considered, and you have to fill that up, right? So this was related to the first task, which was related to GQM. Now we'll turn around a little, see the lighting, and and second task.
Second task was related to LCOM.
Yeah.
There was 2 method given. We have to calculate their P, Q.
Correct.
LCOM 1, LCOM 4, and before that we have to compare how many pairs can be given
Correct.
of each method,
Yeah.
and their values. And there is one theoretical question.
Yeah. So just adding to that point, table was given. So you had the space. So suppose you have maybe one case here, one case here, and you had to write the pairs. So suppose 8 or 10 lines are given, and you have to mention pairs of methods first of all. Next to that, you have to write whether they are shared. If they are not, then if they are shared, then write the variables which are shared. If not, then write none, that none of the variables are shared. So for both of them, you had to write here the method pairs, as well as whether they are shared. If
For
they are
example,
shared,
M1, M2, M1, M3, M1, M4,
yeah,
like that.
Suppose M1, M2 is shared. So you write M1, M2 is shared. Which variable is common? So A variable is common. If nothing is common, write none. So like that, 3 methods were in first and 4 methods were in the second. So this was the first table. Now the third question, 1 second, we'll complete this question.
Okay, yeah.
I just interrupted you in that between.
Yeah, obviously there was one theoretical question, that is
Yeah.
between LCOM 1 and LCOM 4, which one is actually used for OOP and why?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So this you might read, and it is mentioned in the slide as well. So you can read this answer. And like LCOM 1 is better or LCOM 4 is better for object-oriented purpose. Also, regarding LCOM 1, we had to calculate the P value, the Q value, LCOM 1 value, and LCOM 4 value for both of the cases. So for each of these cases, we had the points assigned. And this was the entire question, which was related to the task 2, which is related to the function points. And now coming to the task 3.
Now task 3, I forgot which one is the 3.
See, we had
function point is 4, right?
Yeah, no, there was function point questions. So LCOM point question was there. Also, there was one question which was related to the defects. So we had to write the defects. Also, there was one question, defect management.
I think function point is the question 3.
Yeah, correct. Function point was the question 3. If you can go to the function point topic, where it was related to a visitor's data. So visitors data is given, and suppose they ask that there is a magic sensor, you have to count how many visitors are entering, how many visitors are exiting, and we have to count the differences as well.
Yes.
Like,
so there was a question about how many data points should we use their function point, and the system is outputting some statistics based on some process on whether what would be the type and the value det and function point again.
Correct.
And the last one was what was the last one about the after statistics? Delete data.
Yeah.
So delete data, they are type and function point as well.
Correct. Just to clarify a bit that you had the table, so it's not like you have to make the entire table. The reference table were already given. The entire table where you will see the value of EI, external input, external output, or query. Those tables are made. Here you have to write, is it RET? Suppose if it is visitors data, so is it RET? Right, RET is given,
RET
like
is
one.
given, DET
DET value, or what kind of data value? Will it be ILF, EIF? Right? Will it be EI?
type you have to identify.
Type you have to. So here you have to identify types. There was a space for optional notes. If you calculate something, so you can mention how you did it. It's optional thing. Just to explain the professor.
Correct.
That this is how you use. That was not mandatory. Even if you write nothing, it's fine.
It's fine.
And so here you write. Suppose the first part was visitors data, as he told. Second part was if you get statistics for a day, like for the kind of rate
opening hours.
per opening hours. And third was how to delete a data. So now you have to write DET value and what type of data type or EI, EOs.
Based on data type and RET and DET,
You have to correct.
See the table about the function point.
And then you write the function point value there. Now
it is easy, I would say.
it depends. And also related to this question, it was asked how you calculate the efforts based on the function points. So if we have function points, then it was asked how will you calculate the efforts.
The function points can be helped to measure the effort estimate.
Correct. So this was the question related to the third task. Now coming to the fourth task.
Yes, fourth task is related to
defect.
Yeah,
Correct.
I think the defect, there was a 2 graph given from the lecture 9, I believe, and the percentage of coding, testing, design, review and all.
Their effort percentage as well as their defect percentage. So 2 graphs are given in the process, like it's a waterfall model. So suppose design, code and test, like this diagram was made, and the 2 graphs were made, effort and defects. Now the questions.
The questions was, the first question is, for example, if I want to, I have total of 4,000 pH estimated.
Correct.
How much effort should I put in the coding?
Correct. So you have to see the graph and you have to calculate that. Similarly for defects, if your defect range is 500 to 600.
What would be my use in field values?
Use in field values, but
in the coding defect I have between 500 to 600 pH, but in time of field, the field has 10%, so what will be the value? So it will be 50 to 60.
Correct. So you have to just simply multiply it. You can see how you solve it. This was about the question. Then again there was part.
How much which effort is most percentage has the most defect?
Correct.
Which percentage is that? So
Correct.
between the graph, there is a
graph
bar chart given.
Correct.
Based on the bar chart, there's questions come.
Correct.
Like if you have a bar chart and what is this value? So they have
yeah,
this question.
which has the most percentage of defects, which has the most percentage of effort, something like this.
Kind of
right.
Yes.
And related to these graphs, he asked one more thing. Suppose we are using a waterfall model here. If we use an iterative model here, then which part would be most likely, or which elements from the module 2 graph was related to defect, module 1 graph was related to effort. So which stages you can reuse from module 2, and you have to name them, and in other part you have to mention the reason why you want to reuse them. So it was I think related to the this defect graph, defect and effort graph that we told. Now coming to the task.
I think another task was the defect. A bit of this task, there is some theoretical question, 4 or 5 theoretical question. I think they are related to CMMI, which CMMI level, what does the company use for CMMI level, what happens after CMMI is SKM by measure 1, kind of theoretical question.
It's just like why you perform CMMI, or what you do, why you do SCAMP, right?
Kind of
what you do when you calculate the CMMI level, and maybe why you calculate capability level also, not only the maturity level. What is the reason why you only why you sometimes calculate maturity level but capability level is also needed. And one more question was there at the last. You remember?
No. Which one?
See, first one was capability and level was there, right? Then SCAMP implications, then CMMI. The one that you told me when you came out, initial stage. What does maturity level 1 means?
Yeah, what does maturity level 1
You know,
means?
bro.
Yeah, I know, I just forgot.
No, actually, we just came out of the exam. We had things in mind, but we are trying to communicate as much as possible. So, it was like, what does maturity level 1 means? And Yes.
I think this is it. The next question of 10 marks is about the analysis defect slippage rate
Correct.
given. There is analysis and design, review, and coding and field.
Correct.
So the first, it is similar to the exercise. The first question is which percentage of coding?
What is the ratio?
Ratio of coding of field, coding to the
Coding to the field, analysis and
the-
design to
the
the
field.
test. Like this,
Some
you have to
kind of
compare
compare.
this test to this. What is the ratio this
The
to
first
this?
two question was related to field, and third and fourth question related to only one field. That is, for example, what is the overall defect slippage rate of analysis and design?
Defect slippage rate.
Yes.
Just yeah.
And then there is for coding also there is defect slippage rate. You have
Yeah.
to identify
Yeah, so-
overall defect slippage.
Yeah, so
slippage rate.
so analysis and design defect slippage rate to the later stages, and coding defect slippage rate to the later stages.
Correct.
So two were direct ratios, and two you had to use the formula 1 minus that upon this.
Something.
You can see in the slides.
Yeah.
We will get to know once we get our answers, but
We hope that is the correct one.
yeah,
And there
we can see once.
Yeah.
I think
And there was one question about which one is the highest ratio of in
Correct.
terms of testing
which one in terms of defect.
defects.
Not
and
in terms of testing, in terms of
in
defect,
terms of defect,
which has the highest ratio, like analysis and coding defects, because those two were mentioned. And after that, there was one more question related to defect was there.
yeah, that was. I almost have it in mind. Do you have it?
The defect slippage, see, we calculated.
Yeah.
The last one we had to tell.
What is the highest test you can? What is the highest number
Correct.
of defect you can find in after
Yeah.
in testing?
What now again? One thing you need to add is what is the highest number of coding defects.
defect,
yeah.
yeah.
This is
I am happy that I can remember this one.
what. See, but we try to tell, right? We try to remember
But
because
still, we are forgetting.
we are remembering. See.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was how many of coding defects, right? Were can be found in testing at most.
At most,
At most,
correct.
coding
That
defects
is the
can be
question.
found in the next testing stage before field. Exact. So we did a good discussion, and now we can tell somewhat what kind of question came in the second part of defect slippage rate question. So as you heard us that there were these questions in the defect slippage rate, like coding, impact to others, and the other related parts. There was one more part which was related, and there were 4 questions which was related to the network planning. So there were questions like, suppose
The first question
yeah.
I think was what is forward propagation and backward propagation used for?
yeah, why you use these two
These
types of
steps.
propagations.
Correct.
And then there was a question that
Then there is a question that if what happens if the total float if we exceed beyond the total float. So
correct. So
then
if
what
the value
happens?
increases, if the value is more than total
More
float,
than
then
total float, then what it happens?
what will be the impact? Then there was question that for the critical path, that instead of total float, what value you use or what value you calculate in the graph. And then there was one more question that how do you identify that a path is critical in a network graph? How do you identify that certain path is critical?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was like this. So there were, I think you get an idea, 4 theoretical questions related to it, and I think that's it. So if we summarize the SPPM paper, 5 tasks, 50 marks, 60 minutes, topics, task 1,
GQM.
yeah, and then there was task 2 related to LCOMs, right?
correct.
Then there was task 3 related to
Function points.
function points, task 4 related to
Defect management. I think.
correct defect and project management,
Yeah.
correct.
Thank
And in which there was defect slippage rate and
Correct.
networking questions. And task 5
SPI.
SPI and organization. So in SPI, as we told, the graphs of effort as well as the defect graph
And some theories
and
related
theory related to CMMI, 4 questions related to that. So it was like for each type of questions, like there was quite a variety of parts, and for each part there are marks like 1 marks, 2 marks, 2.5 marks. I don't think we had any single question of 5 marks. Even if the entire question is 5 or 6 marks, it was divided among the parts. 1 marks, half marks, 2 marks. So it was like this structure. And now talking about our experience. So
Experience was good.
Yeah.
So much good.
yeah, experience was good based on the terms of that there was not I think you will understand maybe this point more when we discuss other subjects as well. But sometimes what happens is the timeline is up to the mark, right? You have to be little quick and in a speed to write the paper. But in this, it's not you have to write lengthy answers, you have to do lengthy calculations. It's just you have to do analysis, implementation based questions, and 1 marks, half marks, 2 marks questions. So the time was, I think, enough, or exact, not in a I didn't feel that it was a very quick paper to pass by, although the time was 60 minutes. And anything else you want to add?
No, I think that is all.
Yeah.
The preparation, if you have all the concepts clear, the preparation is not that difficult, and if you have a good grasp of the subject, the exam is not that difficult.
Yeah, but it depends. We cannot say it's easy, tough. It depends on person to person.
Correct.
And it depends. Although we try to prepare as much as we can. So maybe we get the result.
So
But
far, I can say that it's not like a memorization subject. You have to memorize
Correct.
a lot. It's not. You have to understand the math. You have to
Correct.
understand the concept, and then have a cheat sheet.
yeah,
Give
and
gives the exam.
as we told yesterday, go through the exercises. Try to, or because the previous year questions are that something came like this in exercise.
That's
So
good
try
point.
to go through the exercises or slides. But I would say the questions were implementation based. Even if you have the cheat sheet, some points were there like theoretical question, as I said. So you can add like CART or COCOMO model or some theory, because sometimes even with the pros and cons he can ask the theory questions. So it's good to keep the cheat sheet to refer the slides, also for CMMI model or SPICE model, just to remember at that time, oh, what was this related to. So just to see or map it. But I think it was an implementation based questions, and the time was good. It was not, some paper we'll talk later maybe in the other videos, and then I think you can have a much more broader idea what we are talking about. But the time was good, and I think this paper is also done. Now result will come, so it will come, we'll see, and
Nothing to do
we
about
move.
that.
Yeah, because art, I think we can only do preparation, give.
We only do preparation and give exam. After
Yeah.
that, whatever happens, happens.
So yeah, this is the thing. And I think you have you get good or maybe sufficient information regarding this SPPM exam. We tried to share our experience as well as the task that came. And yeah, I think that's it for this vlog. And now I think he will also, Munsir will go to his home, I will also go to my home. Our next exam, we'll talk about it. So that's it for this video, and we'll see you in next day, next vlog. For this video, ciao ciao, bye bye. See you in next day, next vlog. Rest, like, comment, share, subscribe. It doesn't take much time. Bye bye.
Bye.